Are you looking to join Cycling Men of Leisure for one of our rides in 2025? We've got a few things on our schedule.
That's right. We'll be attending Big Bragg and also the Bourbon Country Burn.
Big Bragg is in Georgia and Bourbon Country Burn's in Kentucky. Both places are going to be absolutely beautiful. We're going to have teams for both of those events. If you're looking to join us on our team, just send us a message. We'll tell you what to do.
So come on out. It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely.
Well, it's time for Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure, the podcast for cyclists who understand that riding is not just about getting to the destination, but the experience along the way. Now, here are the original Cycling Men of Leisure, Adam and Michael.
Welcome to Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure. Once again, I am Adam, and with me is a man who will soon be flying to Michigan. A man who has distillery tour tickets already lined up. A man who is going to enjoy the fresh air of Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Michael Sharp.
Thank you, sir. Happy to be here. How we doing?
Doing wonderful. Doing wonderful. I got my contractor coming tomorrow. You know, got my big project going on, trying to lay some tile. You know, I'm not laying the tile. It looked like a kid's art project if I laid the tile. But I got a man coming to do my entire basement, the floor, and your accommodations are downstairs, so hopefully it's all done by the time you get here. So,
well, just so everybody knows, he did send the plans to me. I did sign off on them, so I'm expecting big things.
Absolutely. I really appreciate that.
Sure.
So, what about you?
It's been busy summer. Yeah, doing lots of stuff. So,
anything like exciting? I mean, family?
We went to dinner theater the other night. The family did. Packed them in. Saw a nice show. We have a really good dinner theater here locally. So saw a nice show, got some good food. And then something you would appreciate.
Oh, I'm listening.
My wife and I went to Legends of Whiskey.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen and tell us about Legends of Whiskey.
Basically what it is it's just a big whiskey tasting event. Okay. They had Penelope there and Lux Row. Let's try it that right. And some of the local ones, and a lot of other, distillers there, letting you taste all sorts of their juice. So it was a lot of fun. My wife's not big into whiskeys and bourbons, but you know what? She was there and she actually found a couple that she likes. So.
You've had more than she, did you find anything that really struck your fancy? You're like, hey, I'm going to add that to the bar cart next time.
I'm really interested. I really liked initially, what's it called? Boot Hill.
Yeah.
Distilled out in Dodge City, Kansas. And actually it was good. I liked it. Now, let me caveat this. I was also tasting a lot of other whiskeys.
Yeah.
And, you don't get a chance to really rinse your palate and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So before I say, yeah, definitely would want to add that to my bar as a permanent one, I would want to taste it again. A fair taste test.
Of all the tastings I've been to, and then especially when you and I went to the one with all the tobacco.
Weston. Yeah, up in Weston, Missouri.
All the tastings are usually like in communion cups, and so you're tasting it like hot, and you don't get to open it up, and you don't get to. So sometimes that's what I always find with tastings. Mm-hmm. It's not exactly what you would experience. I mean, there's no wrong way to have a bourbon. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I like mine on ice, and I like it. To sit for a little bit. So that's the only problem. And like you're walking around going communion cup, communion cup, communion cup. So.
So like I said, I will reserve it, but it is definitely a distillery I want to check out more.
Cool.
So
cool. Yep. Well, before I gloss over that, anything else, or has that pretty much just been status quo to status quo?
Well, just been busy here with all the summer activities and all that. So And I know you've been busy chasing the white ball and getting my accommodations finished. So
yes, yeah, white ball is. I mean, that's important to me. I mean, that's it's the two sports I love are golf and cycling, and they it's kind of amazing on beautiful days. They really fight with my head. I'm like, I could go ride my bike or chase the white ball. And for those of you probably thinking, well, you're going to ride in a cart. Many times I like to walk. I actually do better when I walk.
Here's what you do. I've got your problem solved.
Yes.
Take notes.
Yes.
Throw that bag over your shoulder, hop on your bike to the golf course, and then bike home. You get both in one swoop.
Here's the funny thing. While I was doing my exercise before you and I were going to record tonight, I walked around my little town, got a 4-mile track I like. All of a sudden, I have my AirPods in, and I kept hearing this beep, 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 beep. I'm like, what in the world is that? And I turn around, there's a guy on an e-bike, and sure enough, Michael, he's got clubs on his back. And I'm like, wow, okay. And he was heading towards where I know there's a Metro Park course. So I'm like, I think he strapped on the bike, strapped on the clubs, and headed towards the course. So,
see, there's no excuse why you couldn't do that.
You're right. Although I'm not sure the e-bike would give me that good of exercise. So,
well, I'm saying you use your own bike.
That's true.
You're missing my point.
I understand. But yeah, I've been doing that. And then you're right. The project in the basement, which started off as, hey, we're doing shoreline. And once we agreed to do shoreline, I'm like, well, he's going to come into town. I had a flood in that room. I took out the carpet. It's pretty nasty. I better fix it. And then it went to, maybe I'll just get new carpet. And then I'm like, I don't want carpet. And then it went, I should get tile. And then it went, if I'm going to do the tile in there, I might as well do the tile in the whole basement. If I'm going to do the tile there, I should at least do it in the laundry room down the hallway. If I do that, I should take out the trim. And if I do that, I should paint.
Cha-ching.
You know what? Yeah, I'll do that. And now we're at the point where I've painted. I've taken out the trim. Got all the tile coming, and he'll be here tomorrow, 8:00 sharp. And then I'll set all the room back up. The only thing that's not going to be done by the time you get here is just the trim won't be in. But oh well, big deal.
I wouldn't have cared, honestly. You know me. It's like, I have a place to sleep.
Yeah, but I
appreciate the effort, but you know me. I'm not one of those people that it's like, oh,
No, if you were, I would get you a Roach Moach Hotel, down the road. So
take this, buddy.
No, I know you're not. It's just you were kind of the inspiration to get this done, and then of course every time you do a project, it just takes 10 times longer than you ever think it's going to take. So, I've almost gone to the rule of fifths. Like if it's something you think is something that's going to take an hour, you might as well just say it's going to take 5. By the time you collect tools and get things and everything. So learned a lot. I mean, stuff I've never done before. So a couple of mistakes where you go, oh, beep. But then we're getting there. So it's a couple of mistakes fixed, but we're all good.
Awesome.
So that'll be good. Moving on here, but I would love to pick your brain about something. So I saw on Facebook, social media, I've been posting some stuff and advertising for us. I saw all the comments and all the concerns. Some people are concerned about the weather coming up for a little known ride called Ragbri. Now I know you and I decided this year that Shoreline was going to pick our brain, and we decided to do something other than Iowa. Still kind of, for me, I'm just kind of like, I tried thinking about like those guys are going to have a lot of fun, and I was wondering have you thought about it at all, or?
Well, as you can see, I'm wearing my Ragbri jersey thing here, but or what is it? A shirt ski?
A jersey.
Jersey. There you go. In honor of that, but I've seen a lot of the posts and stuff, and really, I'm good. I don't think I'm going to miss it. I mean, it's a great ride and everything, but then I just look at all the other places we haven't ridden, and we were going to be going over territory we've went over before, and I just have a problem. It's like, why am I riding over territory I've already ridden before? Now, granted, different year, different people, all that, but I always like to see what's over the next hill. So I think I'm good with it.
Okay.
I'm happy to go up north, as they call it, and ride a section of that. Now I say a section because there is actually going to be some time when, let me back up. This will be the first ride we've ever participated in that we are going to the same town and some of the same course that we went on another ride. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
Mackinac City.
Next subject then. Forget Ragbri. Just kidding. No, I just saw that the weather was there is some concern of some flooding for the end of the ride next to the river with the downpours they've had, and then depending on what day you watch the weather, they have rain looking projected for a few days. Now that's probably going to change by the time this gets aired, but just for fun and playing along, in that we are a cycling podcast or a cycling centric podcast, although we just talked about bourbon and cigars, but I have set my phone to watch the weather each day and just kind of pay attention. I'm sure there'll be a billion posts of people going, and the concerts are Hairball, Night Ranger.
It's a standard.
Yeah.
Little Sister Christian.
I forget it. Oh, Pork Tornadoes. So there's a lot of
another standard. A
lot of people we've seen. So,
Pet Rock is there too. That's
true.
70s tribute band or something. So
in the Spasmatics,
not a huge fan, but it's variety.
So hopefully they have good weather and good times, and it is kind of the only part is Little Reminisce that starts in Glenwood, and that was that horrible night that I'll never forget in my life. For those of you who've never heard that story, 2 seconds, hotter than hell. I mean, 80, 95 degrees and midnight
still
or something.
No breeze,
nothing,
and we were right next to a railroad track.
And
to make it even worse,
that cold train. I don't mean like
rolled
cold
through
train.
Every 25 minutes.
Oh gosh, it was a little orange track, and I would look up. I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, here they come! Here they come!"
I just had visions of that scene from My Cousin Vinny where he goes in. It's like, does this train always come through it? Whatever. It's like, nope. Generally, it comes through at this time. It was like clockwork. That train just rolling through there.
Side note: when I grew up in Southern Illinois, and there was a train track at the end of our driveway. I say end of our driveway, but it was a pretty long gravel driveway. And when you're young and you're in scouts and your buddies are going to go camping with you, and you camp out on your property, or they spend the night, it'd be like 1 a.m. and the train would roll by, and like, don't you hear that? I'm like, I don't hear anything. Well, don't you hear the train? And I lived there, so I just became accustomed to it. But
right.
My buddies would spend the night, and they'd be up all night going, I can hear the trains. So, oh well. Anyways, so we'll wish all of our friends doing Ragbri. Speaking of Ragbri, our friend Margaret is doing Ragbri.
Yes.
And guess what time it is? It's another time for a new episode on our show.
I'm excited.
Ready?
Yeah.
It's another time where Adam has to make an apology.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
I know, but...
And then I got confused. Like, what? What did you screw up with this time?
Super Stragglers. I called Margaret's team No Hurries, No Worries, which, by the way, was their tagline on their shirt. And it was a heck of a lot more fun when I was riding behind somebody to look up and know that was the jersey, and I would scream, no hurries, no worries. But it turns out the team name is Super Stragglers. And so I apologize to the Super Stragglers. I would have went with No Hurries, No Worries.
See, here's my problem. Love the team. We've ridden several times with Margaret and her team. Yes. Great group of people. But I just hate to ride by them and go, hey, super stragglers. Because then I just feel like I'm degrading these people in some way, shape, or form. Like, yeah, you guys are slow. You got,
That's
which,
right.
They ride just as far as me. And clearly, if I'm passing them, I'm at the same point in the ride as they are. But I just feel like I'm somehow being derogatory.
Speaking of RAGBRAI and Margaret, we want to wish Margaret the best. She is heading to RAGBRAI, so we will hope that she has good weather, stays safe, and comes back in one piece. So, but now, without further ado, we'll close the segment where I have to apologize once again, try to make those as minimal as possible. It is now officially time for, ladies and gentlemen, Listener Spotlight. Now,
all right.
Now we're getting somewhere for you.
Okay.
I have received some messages, and these messages.
This isn't why you're still wearing that tin foil hat, is it?
No, matter of fact,
is it those messages?
No, the reception's a lot better. I don't have to wear the tin foil. My cell phone is working after I got the COVID shot. Just kidding. But by the third one, man, I had spectacular service. But I also had a sixth toe, but we won't talk about that right now.
Not important.
Not important. On a serious note, I have 3 messages to share this week. Two of them have to do with listener spotlight and guesses. So I would like to give you dealer's choice. Would you like to give the clues first, or do you want me to read the messages first? On behalf of Adam
and Michael,
we both want to say thank you
for your support.
Here's what I think we need to do. I think we need to give the clues first.
Okay.
Get it fresh in their mind, and then you can give your things there.
Perfect.
I believe the clues for this one was as followed. The county this community resides in is named after a vice president and a president. Got that?
Got it.
The most famous landmark, or it's most famous for a well-recognized landmark.
Okay.
It was formerly a super big railroad center.
Okay.
And it has a connection to the 1889 Paris World's Fair, or Paris Exposition, however you'd like to say it.
Okay.
And that's what I gave you.
All right. So I would like to be transparent, and Margaret is not the one who corrected me on the Super Stragglers, but Bonnie Goldberg has corrected me. She says, Hi guys. Your clue this week was easy for me. Don't give this away yet, because I have 2 guesses. Okay.
Okay.
Hey guys, your clue this week was easy for me, as I am a Kansas City girl. But now I live in Columbia, South Carolina, so I can ride my bike all year round. Ouch. Yeah, as a Michigander, that ain't. Yeah, okay. Kansas City, Missouri resides in Jackson County. The World War I Liberty Memorial resides there. And if I remember correctly, there is a connection to the residents of Paris. Am I a winner? P.S. Margaret's group is the Super Stragglers. No worries, no hurries. I am a Super Straggler as well. So I apologize to Bonnie and Margaret and the Super Stragglers once again. Now that is Bonnie Goldberg's guess. And so I have another one, but
wow, 2.
Yes. Someone who has guessed before and guessed correctly once and knowingly incorrectly the second time, even stated it, this time has a longer message, so bear with me here. So enjoyed the episode with you guys and Doug. I think he meant Bruce here, with Bruce. and the discussion of Flight 93. I'm hoping that partial points are on offer and really should be Zwifting or biking or drinking a Gretzky 99 rather than testing cognitive abilities and finding them severely lacking. I cheated big. My incorrect answer, he even says, my incorrect answer is Denver, Colorado. The reference to the county vice president makes me think of it's either Adams or Jefferson County. One would think that would make the task indefinitely easy, but there are 26 Jefferson counties and 12 Adams counties in the United States of America. By the way, there is a Jefferson County in St. Louis. Correction, maybe I have another apology coming up. Great. Denver contains both an Adams and a Jefferson County. Denver is a gateway to the Rockies and a big railway center. Sorry. Two birds with one stone. The 1889 World's Fair, Buffalo Bill William Cody, along with Annie Oakley, had a traveling show during the exposition, and his final resting place is Denver, Colorado. Pretty lame answer, LOL. If anyone needs any Trivial Pursuit points, here you go. The 1889 Paris Fair commemorated the storming of Bastille and the 100th anniversary of Liberty of France. The Tour Eiffel was the highest structure until the Empire State Building in 1931. The company that supplied the iron skeleton, I think, was associated with Gustave Eiffel, also supplied the iron skeleton for the Statue of Liberty. Otis, an American company, supplied the elevators for the tower, as no French company had the capability at the time. Thomas Edison had a presence at the exposition, so this was one of the first times electrical lighting was used. The Paris World's Fair had 32 million visitors, which is amazing, including the formidable Buffalo Bill and Annie Oakley. So enjoy the show, guys. Steve. So those are the two guests. The two guests on the table are Kansas City, Missouri, and Denver, Colorado.
Okay, well, one guest right here in my neighborhood. And ironically, I lived in Denver for many years, so familiar with both those. You have any guesses?
It's not St. Louis? No, just kidding.
It's not St. Louis. Oh, my God.
I actually don't have any guesses, but just for fun, is one of our guessers correct?
Well, let me put it this way.
Okay.
Neither are correct. Now, I will applaud both of them. Exactly. Because they put a lot of thought into this. And both of them would be legitimate guesses. The Paris thing with Denver, Buffalo Bill Cody was there. Absolutely. So those are both good guesses, but neither of them are correct. Let me break it down for you and tell you how I got to where I got.
Would you mind if I thank them both for taking the time to write us and how invaluable we find that information, and appreciate the following along? So, but
I love it. I think that's awesome. So absolutely. Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Here's how I got to where I'm at.
Okay.
Note that when I give you these clues, typically they are in no particular order.
Okay.
So sometimes it might be better to start at one of the other clues instead of the one at the top. Little friendly advice there. I myself would have started with the Paris connection. He is correct. There's really four big things that happened at the Paris. Well, a lot of things happened, but things that really remembered about the Paris World Fair. Number one is you are correct. Edison was there. Electricity was a big deal. Not only was Edison there, Nikola Tesla was there as well. Buffalo Bill's Wild West show was there. Brought over some native Sioux people, and it was like a huge hit. And then the final thing that probably everybody remembers the World's Fair for is, it was mentioned, Gustav Eiffel. 2 years before the World's Fair, he started constructing the Eiffel Tower for the sole purpose of the World's Fair. And actually, it was going to be a temporary thing. After a few months, World Fair over, we're going to tear it down. Became such a big deal that they didn't, and it's, still there today. So where I'm really going is the Eiffel Tower. You take that and you put that with a well-recognized landmark, and you are going to get the city of Paris, Texas. They actually have a replica of the Eiffel Tower, not to scale. It's got a big, I believe, blue cowboy hat on the top. Paris, Texas.
Hey, Adam, I need a Coke.
Sounds good. We'll be back after a quick break.
Ladies and gentlemen from Paris, Texas, thank you for listening. Thank you, all listeners. But as usual, I always say thank you to the Paris, Texas from Listener Spotlight. Now, we went
Now,
through
just a second. Because if we don't continue, we're going to get calls and hate mail. What people are going to say is, what about your first one? The county that this community resides in is named after a vice president and a president. The county it resides in is Lamar. You remember good old President Lamar, don't you?
Oh,
I think he was there after Fillmore or Cleveland or one of those guys.
Oh, yeah. What a guy.
Okay. There is no President Lamar. I'm actually taking the yellow flag and I'm throwing it on myself. I was mischievous and devious on this one. I did not lie, but what was not understood is that Marabou B. Lamar was in fact a president and a vice president, but he was the first vice president and the second president of the Republic of Texas. So I know
wrong.
it was kind of underhanded and sneaky, but it wasn't wrong. So there you have it.
Please include all hate mail to M. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to give away your email.
Yeah, no, let's not do that. I'll get flooded. But
I was thinking about it for a second, but I thought, nah.
Maybe not. So,
although, if you listen to the show on Buzzsprout, and that's how you listen to us, there is a new fan mail option. It's like sending us a direct message. During normal business hours, if you ever want to send us a direct message, we get it there as well. So if you listen to Buzzsprout, you'll see there's a fan mail. And
remember, my name is Adam.
Michael.
So
his name is Michael. I didn't think I was going to have to edit yet on this show, but I have to take that out. So
what a funny guy.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. I always appreciate the effort you put into it. I know you definitely work hard on the guesses, and you also work pretty hard not to make it like so simple that people could just get it in 2 seconds. So I appreciate that. So, well, great. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our first Listener Spotlight. You gave the answers. Perfect. So we've got Bonnie. I did my apology to the Super Stragglers. I have a story.
Oh, boy.
I got the bike fixed. But
I like the old look. It looked like you got it at Goodwill or something. It was a good look
heavy.
For you.
It looked very heavy and it felt very heavy. And I made do because we were on an adventure and I didn't want the ride of the adventure to end. So we made the best of it. But so I was supposed to receive the wheel on Thursday, just for some context, we are recording this on the 16th of July, and today is Tuesday. So I was supposed to receive the package last Thursday, and we had some horrible flooding. I think you've had some rain too, right? But
yeah.
And we've had some horrible flooding, and I got an email that said that due to the weather, your package was going to be delayed. I'm like, no, because I had signed up for this ride called One Hell of a Ride. And the reason why it's called One Hell of a Ride is that it normally goes through Hell, Michigan.
Normally.
It didn't this year. So, but that should have been my first sign. But so I had written this email to my boss, and he's on a leave of absence right now. But I had written this email to my boss, and yeah, I've spoken very freely before that I have a lot of flexibility. But then again, we also have buses that run from 4:45 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. So with flexibility comes responsibility. But I wrote him and said, hey, if my wheel comes, I'm taking off. I'm going to get my bike fixed. I want to do this ride. And he said, no problem. He wrote me back, said, absolutely. Thanks for covering while I'm gone. And well, then I got the email about the wheel being delayed. And so it said, be there tomorrow. So I wrote my boss back and said, listen, package is not coming tomorrow. If it comes tomorrow, I'm taking off. And he said, absolutely. He's always been very supportive of my riding. He said, absolutely. So I'm watching the tracking, and the package was delivered. Got to my house like 2 o'clock. I've talked on this show before, but you're just picked up on us recently. I live about a half an hour from the bike shop that I like to go to. There's others closer to me, but some friends own the bike shop that I like to go to. And I went down there and took everything in, and the guy who had fixed my bike or tuned my bike up before Bragg said, didn't I just work on this bike? I said, yeah. He goes, what happened to the wheel? And I go, that's why I'm here. I destroyed a wheel while I was in Georgia. And so he said, oh, I don't think we can get that done today. And I said, are you sure? And he said, I don't think so. And long story short, he talked to the owner, and the owner's a friend, and said, nope, got to get it done today. And so he said, I'm going to get this done. And I said, well, I really appreciate that. And so they came through at the last hour, and I had my golf clubs in the back of my van, and I was not going to travel back north where I live about half an hour away, but it was bumper to bumper traffic on my way down. I'm like, I am not getting in that. So I looked behind me. I'm like, ooh, I have my golf clubs with me. And so I went and played 9, and then came back, picked up the bike, got home, and got everything together, and went out and did a 100-mile ride called One Hell of a Ride.
Nice.
And although I missed you, usually we do that stuff together. And you know what I realized? I realized that I really like centuries that go from like point A to point B, and centuries that go from point A back to point A are just not as fun for me.
You don't like the loop centuries?
No, I like that I'm going somewhere. I was a little disappointed.
You are going somewhere. You're going right back to where you started. But
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's not my jam. But I started really well, and I did 15 average, so I'm happy. And I missed Moonshadow, Italian Ice. I really wish when we got to the last, actually it was all the same rest stop. The way they did it, you went out and there was a rest stop, and then if you're doing the 60, then you went out and did a loop, and then the same rest stop, and then if you're doing 100, you come back another way, same rest stop, and then you finished. And I'm like, man, I could really go for some Italian Ice right now. So,
if I would have knew that, I was tracking you because you gave me the thing. I can track you on your on your thing. I would have went out and got an Italian Ice and had a picture of me sitting on my deck eating my Italian Ice, just to
Wow, what a friend!
I was there supporting you, sort of.
Speaking of support, and my third message for this episode, a gentleman by the name of Ken Koopman wrote me. Okay. He said, were you at One Hell of a Ride today? I recognized the Men of Leisure jersey and remembered your posting on the Bransell website. You and I used Bransell in previous Ragbrise before. Mm-hmm. He said, my wife and I have missed Ragbri the past 2 years, but going this week, our first time with Bransell was in 2014. Sorry, 2014. It was at the end of the ride. You were walking to your car in the fairgrounds, and that's when I got boomed on because the last 5 miles, the heavenly gates opened up and flooded on me. Although I had mixed emotions. I don't like riding in the rain, but I was so hot that the cool weather felt great until like I was completely soaked. But I said, yes, that was me. I said, thank you for your message. Best of luck. I said, we're doing shoreline, so we skip Ragbri. And he says where he lives. I'm going to not say that, but
Yeah.
But he does say, as you know, Michigan bike tours have been on the wane. But look up Mommy Adventures. He says they are a club from Toledo, Ohio, and run 4 bike tours every summer. They're well run and fun. You may be familiar with their Irish Hills tour, which I have heard about. Worth the drive to Northwest Ohio. Anyway, we'll say hello one of these days at one hell of a ride of Bransell. And just wanted to say thank you for Ken for reaching out. And obviously, you know now, I showed you a picture, but I was wearing the official Cycling Men of Leisure brag jersey. Happened to find our artist who did our logos out.
I saw
out
that
on the
picture.
route.
That was pretty good.
So that was interesting. But yeah, it was a good time. I'm glad to have the bike back in one piece with all carbon wheels. Next time we'll try not to slam on the rear brakes if we have a blowout. Like I could control that, but that's about it for me. But I know you, sir, instead of riding a bike, you have been watching multiple people ride a bike, and you've got some updates.
Well, yeah, as a lot of people who follow us know, I'm a big Tour de France fan. Really love it. That's kind of like my sporting event every year, July.
You love Lance Armstrong. That they really need to know how much you really love.
Where is that beeper? Yeah, I need one of those.
He does not like Lance Armstrong.
Anyway, every July I love watching it, and Tour de France, it's a 21-day ride. They generally do it over 23, 24 days, primarily in France, although this year they're going to, I think, 4 different countries. They started in Italy, so they don't always stay within the French borders. You have 22 teams of 8 people apiece. That's like 176 riders start out at the beginning. You get 18 of your world tour teams, which are like, your top ranked things. And then they do 4 wild card to kind of that lower ranked teams to come and participate. So I always enjoy it. Always get a big kick out of it and enjoy watching it. But I was sitting around and was doing some thinking and did some research and came up with some interesting information about bikes in the Tour de France.
All right.
So I thought I would share a little bit.
Let me settle in. I'm ready.
Are you settled in? All right.
I'm settled in.
But just a couple of things to start things off, just to give you some idea of the changes. The winning bike weight in 2023 was 15.9 pounds.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot because I didn't ask you this ahead of time and I feel bad. But when you talk about the bike weight, is that all dialed up like they're ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's like,
the reason why I asked that is I know, like, if I go to a shop and I'm like, oh, I like Trek Damani's, and I've said that before. So I'm like, oh, there's the new Damani. And when you're inside of a store, they're like, oh yeah, that weighs like 19 pounds. Well, then there's no pedals on it. There's
right. They got to put the whatever wheel set you want on all that. No, this is the entire bike.
Wow. 15 something.
15.9 pounds. In 1962, it was 22.4.
22.
So, yeah. So that just kind of gives you some idea of how much they've been able. I mean, they were streamlining them back in the 60s, but look how much more they've been able to streamline them through the use of carbon and other things like that. So I just thought I'd throw out there.
Small side note, when you talk about that, when I was picking up putting the new rim on, the guy says, you want this one or the super light one? He goes, it'll save you like 4 grams. I'm like, there's no way I'm ever seeing the difference of 4 grams. I'm like, I'm good. I'll take the yeah. But anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, 4 grams to me, it's like that ain't gonna make or break me. I'm not even gonna notice it. But a little bit about the bike brands that have won. Any guesses of what bike brand you think has won the tour the most?
Hey, Michael, I need a coffee.
Okay, we'll be back right after this message.
Well, I was going to say Trek right off the bat, or Bianchi. I mean, Bianchi being the oldest, but I was thinking of Lance Armstrong, and even though I know they stripped him of his titles, but he 7 of them would have been a Trek. So I'm still going to go Trek.
Now, keep in mind this race has been around for 111 years. So
That's true. And
or excuse me, this is the 111th iteration of it. There was a few years during the wars there that they decided not to host it, but actually, Pinarello.
Oh wow, okay.
Has won it 16 times. Peugeot has won it 10. La Auto has won it 10. And now Trek comes in, they've won it 9 times. Now, you know me, I have to caveat it. Armstrong rode 7 of those. So, yeah, I'm just leaving it at that. And
moving on.
The other 2 of those were ridden by Alberto Contador, which one year he was booted too. So, 9 times for Trek.
Just and then to be clear, those guys got booted for doping, right?
Yes.
Nothing to do with their bikes, no motors. I know there's been motors. I know they've caught bikes where the wheels are like the bike crashes and the wheels are still turning.
They do all like the electronic checking and all that kind of stuff and the weighing, but no, that was all due to doping. Merckx 5, Cervelo 1, and Bianchi has been there 3 times winning.
Wow.
And this is winning the overall thing. So
yeah, not a stage, but the whole thing.
So really, if you took out the ones that no longer counted on Trek, Bianchi would be slightly ahead. Just saying.
Go back and say that again.
But to put it in perspective, there has been in 111 years, from what I can tell, 37 different bike brands that have been raced in the Tour de France.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And is Trek being raced this year? Do you know?
I would probably say no, based upon the way you're trying to lead me down the Primrose path.
What? That hurts, man. That really hurts. Like I would be trying to. Actually, Trek is in the race this year.
Okay.
Team Arkea and B&B Hotels. That's one team. They're riding Trek. Just to give you some ideas, some of the other brands, Canon is being ran by the Alpecin team. Cannondale is EF Education. Orbea is Lotto. Scott is being ridden by the team DSM. Specialized is Bora. Cube is Intermarché. Look is Cofidis, and Giant is being ridden by Team Jayco. So I just thought it was interesting because I was wondering about bike brands and all this kind of stuff, and just got to rabbit holing around the internet and doing some research and thought it was kind of interesting. One more thing I'll throw at you. The country that has won the most Tour de France's is naturally France, believe it or not. Now, they don't do that much anymore, but back in the old days, they were.
Now, I know you're an avid, historian when it comes to it. Is it true that guys would like jump on train cars and cheat and then come around the bend, so to speak, or whatever?
Well, when the race first started out in 3 or whatever, it was originally, ironically, to sell newspapers. Very similar to like the Iowa ride. It was hosted by a newspaper thing. And yeah, the early races, number one, the infrastructure, in 1903, not a lot of people were, driving cars. You didn't have a lot of the paved roads. So they were riding a lot on dirt, gravel, cobble. You didn't have, and the bikes were not super comfortable. In the beginning years, And because people who wanted to see it, there wasn't a lot of spectators here and there, or commissars, which are like the judges nowadays. There was people that would, in fact, grab a lift from somebody in a car. They'd hop a train with their bikes. They did all sorts of crazy cheating things to get to the end. And some of them did get caught. A lot of them got away with it just because, I mean, you're going through the French countryside. There's nobody out there to, call you out. And even if somebody sees you getting on a train with a bike in those early days, they had no clue, that there's this Tour de France thing going on. So, a lot of cheating, a lot of use of public transportation back then with your bike to get to your next stop.
Oh, there's a lot of rules with biking and public transport. Oh, wait, probably not the same.
No.
I did see on CNN that, and I don't want to misspeak here, but they were using some tool connected to an iPad to see if there was any motors or whatever in the bikes. They ran the iPad down the frame and down everything in the bike. What are they doing when they do that?
Well, I don't know if they changed it, but I know in the past years, they, at the beginning of the race, they'll weigh it and they'll run it, basically checking for electronics.
Okay.
Electrical waves, currents, things like that on the bike. What they've done also is, once you get on the road, they also have a mechanism that they have with a person on a motorcycle where they can actually go and check your bike for electrical mechanisms and things like that. So just in case, you change bikes, because, everybody has their team car and several bikes on the top. If they just checked it once, somebody could grab a bike that had some, assist in it, and no one would know the wiser. So that's why they actually check on the route as well. So yeah, they're checking for electronic. They do also, or they have in the past, X-rayed bikes, things like that, whatever they can do to guarantee that everybody's machine is at the appropriate weight and doesn't have any kind of special mechanisms on it that might give them a bigger advantage.
So when we're looking at, I know you definitely pay attention. I'm dead serious. Are they allowed to use head units, bike computers and all that?
Oh, they have bike computers. Yeah,
they do.
They have bike computers and they have radios that are hooked up to their team car. So their directors and things are constantly talking to them in their ear, and then they can also talk to the directors, that kind of stuff. So they do have communication. They do have computers and that kind of thing. And you'll see them a lot of times if they have a flat tire or if something's wrong with the bike and they just do a bike change versus a tire change or something. You'll see them grab the top. They'll grab the computer and hop on the new bike. So,
oh wow, okay.
They've got all that.
Huh.
The big thing is they can't use. Basically, you can't. Your bike has to be a certain. It can't be below a certain weight, and you can't use any kind of equipment that is not available to the public. Meaning, somebody couldn't come out there and get some some super crazy, face mask helmet thing, if it's not available to the general public. Okay. Because there was a big controversy with, I forget who it was this year, he had a special nose piece on his glasses, and there was some question about that, but you can actually buy them. So there you go.
Huh. Well, all right. So you're saying that Trek is one more than Bianchi. I heard that. So that's good.
Well, what I'm saying is that more people on the Trek team yeah, you go with that line. That's fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. It's funny when your family wrote me when you guys were in Florida. They're like, do you really beep him? Like Max wanted to know if I really beep you. And I'm like, well, yeah, if there's something I don't want to hear, I just beep him. I got the sound.
And then, of course, then Max is like, anytime I start saying something that whole trip, he's like, beep, beep. It's like, really, beep. He got the biggest kick out of it. So thank you. I was getting beeped driving through Florida. I appreciate that.
Well, listen, I'm sure there were people who were driving vehicles who you wanted to say certain things that you had to use the word beep. I've driven in Florida, like, what in the world are you doing? But, um, well, great. Well, thank you for the update on the tour. Is it over?
No, it's still going. So
We're still going. Okay.
It's got a few days left.
So productivity at your job has probably gone down.
Not for me.
Okay. I mean, for watching,
See, well, not for me, because here's what I do. I've got it. It's through Peacock, so I can watch
stream it
today's
later.
episode tonight. So that kind of thing.
Okay. I got you. Every time I try to do that with like football, you're very aware that I love to watch football. And I'll do myself a favor, record the game, and I'll be like, don't look at my phone, turn off all things. And then I'll get a text message like from Joe or something like, dude, you see the KC game? Man, that was great that they won. I'm like, no, why did I read that message? So
yeah, you got to be careful, but
oh well, life goes on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that. I just have a quick update about Shoreline. Those of you know that we are going to Shoreline. We had a team meeting the other night.
We did.
And got some logistics laid out. And so we are going to actually take the recorder, do some recording on the show, on the road, and might have some special guests. I hope to actually have Neil on for a little bit. I would love to have some of our teammates, some of our friends that we see up there. And so be looking for that for Shoreline.
And I think what I'd like to try to do is maybe a few reels.
Yeah.
Perfect. Get a few reels, try to do at least one a day, let everybody kind of see what we're doing ahead of time so they don't have to necessarily wait to the show to get the lowdown.
Speaking of reels, did you see our friend Chris Denver? Have you been paying attention to his reels?
I have been. Yes. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, I'm sorry too, buddy. So he loves to add states that he's ridden across, and he was gonna attempt his 20th, and I said that correctly, 20th state. I mean, he already knocked out Rhode Island. I'm just kidding. But he was going to attempt his 20th state. Chris, not with us, not the same year, but Chris has done another ride that you and I have done. In Illinois. Yeah, and then Bragg, and then but yeah, so he was going to do Washington. He got a little bit east of Spokane, and just conditions were so brutal and so remote that he decided. And by the way, I commend him. Kudos to him, because some would have kept going. He recognized that this is not the year to do this. Maybe plan again, or maybe a different year. And so he had to backtrack. And the last reel that I saw is he looked like he was in not just a hotel, but a very nice hotel that had robes and all kinds of things.
He should.
Yeah, but he deserved it.
That's an important point about cycling, especially when you're doing like cycling things on your own. You got to know when, basically, to say when. Yep. I mean, you've got to read the situation, even if you're going out on just like a Saturday afternoon. I mean, if the weather gets bad, if things are not looking good, if you're not feeling good, I mean, you got to be able to say, you know what, this isn't safe. Whatever, I'm just going to pull the plug.
Yeah.
Because too many people just keep going. And then that's what really gets you into problems. It's like you push it and you push it and you push it. And then you find yourself, super dehydrated or big mechanical problems or whatever. So kudos to him.
And to be fair, he was even having a hard time just finding water. He literally had to go to people's houses. And by the way, I haven't spoke to him. I messaged him and just sent him a Facebook message, and he replied and just told him that we were thinking about him. But in one of the reels he posted, he said he went up to a lady's house and knocked on the door. And because she wasn't home, he went and opened up her faucet, side of the house just to get some water. That's pretty bad if you're out in there that remote where you can't even get, replenishment. So we hope that he enjoyed his sleep. All he said he wanted to do was sleep. So we hope he got that, and then
absolutely
get back home. So we'll do some reels, like you said.
Yeah, should be fun.
Expanded Jersey store. I wrote myself a
Not
note.
to be confused with the Jersey Shore.
No, we're
Yes.
not. We're not Jersey Shoring it.
I'm just saying, not to be confused.
You want me to call you Pookie? Or whatever they had that show.
I've never watched the show, so
I don't know. It just seems like airheads. But on a serious note, a few years ago, we started to grow this thing, had some legs, and we started having some people who were following us, and they said, "Hey, do you guys offer a jersey?" And we kept saying no, and it's not that we didn't want to. We just didn't know where to go, how to do it. We didn't know, how you would offer a random jersey because we don't expect to sell, 1 million of these things. So how did we do it where it was independent in a store and the person could order and ship to their house?
And short of me putting my kids to work in the sweatshop in my basement.
I would have been fine with that, by the way. But
I have no problem with it. But there's this thing called social services, and they frown upon things like that. So,
yeah, you guys have that in Central Time Zone.
Moving on.
So, anyways, we found a company called Jack Rue, which you and I have currently ordered some products. We wanted to be the test. Not just to only have items with our logo on it, but we wanted it to be able to speak about it.
That's right.
Because sometimes you and I have to divide and conquer. We do, like when I was at One Hell of a Ride, someone would have asked me, I would have said, actually, yeah, it's high quality. They great jerseys, phenomenal items. I'm super impressed. I've received 2 items.
But it's not just jerseys.
No, we've got shorts, we have bibs, we have a technical sweatshirt,
technical hoodie, yeah,
technical hoodie. We've got, and if you're more of a mountain biker than a road biker, we have a Jersey Phoenix. I want you to listen to that.
Phoenix. Again. We have jerseys.
We now have a Jersey. We have
mountain biking style shorts.
Yeah,
if you like those.
Lycra. We have bibs. I think that's it. Jerseys, shorts, bibs. And we have it not only in cycling men of leisure, we have it in cycling women of leisure. To find that, go to cyclingmenofleisure.com. Go to find our stores. And I say stores plural because we're also working on another store where just like T-shirts and other swag. But anyways, you can find that store there, and then order the items if you would prefer or not, up to you. But if you do, the nicest thing is it'll ship right to your house. So I will tell you that on that store, Michael and I both tested it independently. Obviously, he lives in Kansas. I live in Michigan. We both ordered. Both of them said they should be at our house on July 12th, and lo and behold, both of us got the package on July 12th. So, so far, I can say nothing but kudos and quality, shipping, everything is A+. So, because we hate to put our name on something and then find out later oh yeah, well, we never got junk. It. So, yeah, it's junk.
The other thing is, go out and check it out, and if there's stuff that people would like to see, we can look into adding that to the store. That's not, so. Yeah,
the design team has been great. If you saw our jerseys from Bragg, what we did is we sent that in, and no offense to Franklin or the team because we love them, but we just had Bragg and Northside Hospital pretty much taken off, and we copied kept it simple, nice and simple to start off with, just seeing and testing the waters to see how it is, and so far we've already received some orders and lots of comments about people thanking us for having that. So we're happy to have it. So
now, for clarity, it was not the Bragg official Bragg jersey; it was our Bragg team jersey.
That's correct.
Just for clarity,
I appreciate that. No, thank you for doing that. Without further ado, I think it's time for an episode, next segment of people who love
segment.
Listener Spotlight. I love when I have my toys.
Right. Are you ready?
I'm
this
ready.
Is a good one. I don't think I pulled any sneaky things on this one. This listener spotlight is around a city that was laid out in the mid 1800s. This city has helped promote our country's love of candy for a very long time. Okay. Here's a good one. This city is well known historically for what an early expedition left there. And the city's name honors Native people. One final clue. This town was fundamental in the character development of a beloved cartoon character.
Huh.
And there you go.
Wow. I usually don't guess because I like to make it more fun for the show, but and sometimes I actually have somewhat of a guess. But man, a cartoon. 1800s. Native Americans.
Yeah. St. Louis doesn't work on this one.
It doesn't.
No, not even close.
Cherokee, Wisconsin.
Oh, good guess. If I was going to guess, I'd have probably guessed Cherokee, Oklahoma, but that's just me.
Okay.
You guess what you want to. So, we got a guess for Cherokee, Wisconsin. All right. Fair enough.
All right.
We'll see.
All right.
See how right you are.
Well, thank you for the clues. For those of you who are your sleuths at home, it's time to do your thing. And we appreciate what you do and your messages always, of course. So
absolutely.
All
right.
That's about it. The only thing I would add to this is last Saturday, it was a great day for a bike ride.
As always.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you being here.
See you later.
Thank you for coming along with Adam and Michael on Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure. If you have enjoyed this, please subscribe to the show on the podcast app of your choice.
Hey, we just wanted to remind you that we've got some really cool products at our jersey and our swag store.
That's right. You can visit cyclingmenofleisure.com. At the top of the page, you'll find our stores page. Click there. There's 2 QR codes. The one on the left has a J on it. That's the store for the jerseys. The one on the right is just a swag store. Has all kinds of different items. Kind of customizable. You can kind of make the swag the way you want it. If the QR codes are giving you an issue, don't worry. Underneath, there's 2 buttons that you can click on. Thank you, and have a great day.